Wisconsin prisons are short on staff.
That's right, and overtime is costing Wisconsin taxpayers tens of millions of dollars each year. Tonight, Fox 11 investigates. Mark Leland examines the cost and the growing danger that workers feel is being ignored.
We believe that there certainly is a need for reform and corrections.
The problem is that the Department of Corrections doesn't realize that there is a problem.
So now we're kind of behind the 8 ball as we try to catch up to that.
Do you feel like you've been lied to?
Yeah, we do. We all do. We all feel like we've been lied to.
It's a powder keg waiting to explode.
That powder keg Tony Gunderson is referring to is the prison system, where staffing vacancies are soaring and correctional officer morale is plummeting. Fox 11 Investigates uncovered those problems last summer when we raised staffing concerns with DOC and other state officials. At that time, we were told prison staff vacancies had grown to 403 positions. State Representative David Steffen of Howard was assured conditions would get better.
Department of Corrections is aware and certainly working on trying to address the shortage that exists within that particular employment section.
But 7 months later, the DOC confirms the correctional officer and sergeant vacancies have grown to 511. All prison staffing vacancies total 716, according to Legislative Fiscal Bureau documents. State Senator Jennifer Schilling of La Crosse is outraged.
And there really has not been a sense of urgency from the Department of Corrections to address this.
The Department of Corrections implemented a forced overtime policy in November. All correctional officers and sergeants take their turn filling the empty shifts.
Is that a way to solve the problem?
No, I don't think it's a way to solve the problem at all. I think there's other ways to solve the problem, but that ain't it.
Sergeant Dave Rupels works at Tachita Correctional in Fond du Lac. He says system-wide, the overtime has become burdensome and damaging to morale. Overworked and tired, he says many officers, both new recruits and longtime veterans, are getting out.
You know, we don't need the hassle of having urine or feces thrown at us or chance of being assaulted.
The real problem here is money. Fox 11 Investigates revealed last year that state prison correctional officers get paid roughly $15 an hour to start. Workers say raises are non-existent. Compare that to those doing the same job in county jails, where the starting pay is as much as $21 an hour. And since the state legislature passed what is known as Act 10 back in mid-2011, many of the benefits once received by state correctional officers have been cut back or eliminated. I caught up with DOC Secretary Ed Wall back in September to ask him about his plan to correct the staffing shortage. His plan called for higher wages.
You have a shortage.
Yes, we do.
Trying to get correctional officers.
Correct.
What's being done to try and fill that? Right?
We were recently given the ability with the compensation plan to reclassify the officer and sergeant classifications. We're working on that. We'll probably be rolling that information out in the next 2 weeks.
The plan, according to Wall, included pay raises in an effort to recruit more workers and keep the workers they have from leaving. By doing that, vacancies could be filled and the soaring overtime costing taxpayers $33.5 million in fiscal year 2014 could be significantly reduced. Yeah. Prison workers like Sergeant Dave Rupels were excited that the pay issue was finally being addressed.
Did you ever get a pay raise?
No, we have not seen a pay raise.
Wall's compensation plan to boost salaries involves shifting funds from within the DOC's existing budget.
The legislature's giving you the ability to rework your current budget, but they're not giving you extra money.
That's correct.
Isn't that going to be tough for you?
It is, but life's full of tough challenges.
And there is no money out there, but yet we've been promised money since this past fall. And we have not seen anything, or has anything changed.
Wall notified Governor Walker in late January that he would be stepping down from his job as head of the Department of Corrections later this month. In a letter to DOC employees, he stated, "In order for the department to move forward and make the substantive changes that are needed, a new secretary will be able to bring fresh perspectives to the challenges ahead." Governor Walker acknowledges there are issues with prison staff vacancies. He told Fox 11 Investigates it's a reoccurring problem that comes up when the economy is improving.
It's an ongoing issue, and it's only going to be a bigger challenge because as the unemployment rate goes down and the labor participation rate goes up, those are good things for the people of the state, but they're a challenge for any employer, particularly the Department of Corrections.
Walker told Fox 11 Investigates more money will need to be budgeted for the DOC, but not anytime soon.
No, that would be more the next budget. Because again, this isn't something that creeped up on us.
But correctional workers and even some lawmakers like Senator Schilling of La Crosse indicate staffing and safety problems are getting worse.
We are seeing really significant assaults on correctional officers, and they are out for a long time and may never come back.
DOC online records show assaults are on the rise. Documents obtained over the past several months by Fox 11 Investigates clearly show assaults and fights occur on a regular basis. These incident reports over a 2-week period at Green Bay Correctional show numerous fights involving inmates and injuries to staff.
We've seen an increase in staff assaults throughout the last year. At Waupun Correctional here, 2 weeks ago, they had 7 fights in 7 days.
Waupun's Correctional Security Director sent out this email warning staff to remain vigilant and be aware of their environment. When Walt took over as DOC Secretary in 2012, he ordered twice the number of classes of recruits to fill anticipated vacancies. But the additional classes haven't filled the ranks. An open records request obtained by Fox 11 Investigates shows 455 correctional officers graduated from the state's training program last year, while from July of 2014 through November of 2015, 559 correctional officers left their state employment. Tony Gunderson is among those who had enough.
I would go into work knowing that the next shift we were already 10, 12, 15 staff members short for the next day prior to any people calling in sick.
Gunderson worries for those who still work behind these high walls and razor wire.
The inmates watch them. You know, they watch the staff members. They see what's going on. You're seeing it with the morale being low, the staff members being tired, they're exhausted. It's a powder keg waiting to explode. And it's unfortunate that it might take losing an institution like Columbia or Waupun Correctional or Green Bay Correctional to get changes passed.
Last month, Democrats introduced several bills aimed to improve prison staffing and safety, but none have been brought up for a vote, and there have been no bills to increase correctional officer pay. We put in a request to speak with the new Secretary of the DOC, John Litcher, but haven't heard back. He is scheduled to take over for Wall next week. For Fox 11 Investigates, I'm Mark Leland.